Gloomy Mavis dances round the kitchen, singing along to Typo Negative as she prepares a sumptuous feast. One of her old favorites, a special dish of her own devising. Mavis calls it Hole in the Toad. Tonight her parents, Mordecai and Primrose, are coming to tea. They have very exacting standards, and Mavis is terribly keen to impress them with her cooking. First she preps her toads. 10 dead toads, lined up on her chopping board. She slits them open and scoops out their innards, dropping them into a bowl. Once all 10 toads are shelled, she brushes their skins with a mixture of mouse semen and oil of strychnine, and roasts them at a medium temperature for 13 minutes, until the toad skins start to crisp. While the skins are roasting, Gloomy Mavis turns her attentions to the bowl of toad flesh. She extracts the bones, rinses them in the sink, and puts them to one side. They'll come in handy for a sculpture she has planned. Using a fork, she mulches up the meat and gore of the toads into a thick gloop. She adds in a handful of dried, daddy longlegs, a tablespoon of the albumin inside a rat's eyeball, a teaspoon of black mold, a smear of fetid jism, and mushrooms. Gloomy Mavis dribbles this mixture into the crispy toad shells. When Mordecai and Primrose arrive, she'll baste them with more mouse gum and finish them off in the air fryer. Serve on a bed of roasted potatoes and turnips and a few sprigs of steamed moss. Mordecai enjoys his hole in the toad greatly, even returning for seconds, which is against his custom. Primrose, on the other hand, doesn't take a single bite of the food. She sits in silence the whole night, staring straight forward. Mordecai more than makes up for his wife's reticence, and is convivial as ever. Mordecai had been a very successful anaesthetist, who worked at Linfield Royal Hospital. Each morning, before dawn, he would make his commute to the hospital on his trusty pogo stick. He could reach incredible speeds on it. In 2017, after 50 years of continuous service, Mordecai retired from his post, after his eccentricities led to a scandal. In the years since his early retirement, Mordecai has discovered a real taste for hole in the toad. It's become his favorite dish, and he's tried it with other meats, too. Seagull, rat, pigeon. Swapped out the daddy longlegs for crushed spiders or ground toenails with a fungal infection. There is a reason Mordecai has become so fascinated by this dish. In 2017, shortly after Mordecai's forced retirement, Primrose fell ill and died suddenly. Mordecai already had a contingency plan in place. He sent his wife's body to a robotics specialist he'd once drugged in the course of his work. A bespoke animatronic robot, made to Primrose's exact measurements, had been in storage for 20 years, ready for this exact moment. When Primrose reappeared after her sudden holiday, looking pale and peaky and unable to speak, Gloomy Mavis didn't notice. Her mother had always been cold and aloof. Ever since then, Mordecai has lived his life with a programmable robot which wears his dead wife's skin. Just like the hole in the toad, the specialist scooped out her guts and threw in some stuff to make her better. Gloomy Mavis is satisfied. The night went well. Once her parents leave, she'll have a nice bath and relax. She always keeps a bathtub full of stagnant water ready for such occasions. Great big bubble fountains of algae and mosquito eggs, water grey with decay. Her belly full of hole in the toad, she drinks a glass of chilled UTI, and sinks into her lovely swamp bath. Ah, bliss.